Regarding special educational needs students, this can be very, very tricky for new teachers, because not only are you trying to figure out your career and your profession and how the curriculum works and how you're going to deliver it, but also you have this subset that have very strong needs, and how do you also deal with that as well? So the learning curve for all of that is very, very steep. And I feel that there's a lot of talk about identification of these students, but there isn't a whole lot of talk of how do we support them. And this is where I've had a lot of, mixed help. I've gone to a talk by the Hong Kong Dyslexic Association organization, and they have wonderful talks on how you can support students. So I think in some ways, trying to find somebody that you can talk to that has experience with these students is always helpful. Even if they don't have the whole picture, at least you get a little bit of help. Like students who are somewhere on the autism spectrum tend to do very, very well with visual aids, and also you need to have very strict routines and forewarning as to an alteration of these routines. So you have to be very, very organized in order to support a student with some degree of autism. And a lot of these things are spectrums. It's like you don't have it or not have it. You have to also recognize that there are degrees in which these students kind of have these learning needs. With dyslexia, I myself have had to go through a lot of work with dyslexia, and now there's a lot of multisensory support and things like that. So it's really, dyslexia is mainly a memory issue. It's recall, either from short term or from long term, and it represents itself in not being able to recall the sound of the letter or the formation of those words with letters within a word. And when you think that it's a memory issue, then you think about how complex writing a word can be. What are all the things, all the steps that you need to do in order to figure that out? With ADHD, I had one student who was gifted and had ADHD, Joy. But he was really fun. And that's where I had good rapport with some of my students, and he was always getting up to help. But I think bottom line is, if you understand it's beyond their control, it drastically affects how you respond to behavior. If you think that a student has control over their behavior, then they are kind of being disrespectful, or they're upsetting your class balance. The students themselves don't really know this, but you do. And if you feel that this person is trying to make life difficult for you, then there's that negative feedback loop that you're kind of creating. However, if you are told and you understand that it's beyond the student's control, it becomes much easier. You say, okay, I understand you need a minute. Maybe, like I had this one student, I did not know they had ADHD until the parent meeting at the end of the year. And I was not informed by the school. The parents specifically gave the information to the school to inform the teachers, and this was not passed on. So we found out later, and then we realized, oh my goodness, this explains everything. So they said some of the strategies for helping him can be going to the washroom, taking a break, just having some type of physical transition. And once that happened, everything changed. We didn't have this disruptive, monster in the classroom anymore. It was this person who just needed to have a little break, transition, come back, move around a bit. As a teacher, you're not a trained psychologist. You can't make that diagnosis. You can't say this child has ADHD, this child is dyslexic, this child has autism. You can see their characteristics, or you might guess, but it really helps to know whether or not this child has been diagnosed. And then having that information, it helps you with how you're going to, or how that will impact your relationship and how they behave in the classroom and what they're allowed to do in the classroom.